Okay, boys and girls, I want to talk about a quick story that came up over the weekend regarding a dance festival known as Defqon 1. I actually went to this festival a few years ago. It's in Sydney, even though I live in Melbourne. It's not exactly my scene. I'm not quite into the music, but what's happened is a few people have overdosed, and I just want to talk about the implications and the reaction from certain politicians. So, as you can see from the headline, Defqon 1, 2 dead and 2 in critical condition after Sydney Dance Festival. So, health authorities will fast-track toxicology tests to see if the deaths of 2 people at a Sydney Dance Festival are the result of the same drug as New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian vowed to permanently shut down the event. Typical reaction from the moral busybody. Something bad happens, so they just want to punish absolutely everyone for that. Let's not have a look at the issues, maybe have a look at some alternative strategies. Just shut it down. This is the Premier of the state, by the way. Someone should tell her that Prohibition doesn't work. Anyway, we'll continue. A 23-year-old man and a 21-year-old woman died in hospital after collapsing at the Defqon 1 festival in Penrith, west of the city, about 9 p.m. on Saturday. 2 others are fighting for their life in hospital, while a further 700 were forced to seek medical help at the event. So it sounds like someone's brought a bad batch of pills to the party, and a number of people have suffered as a result. Now, some people see this and think, well, we should just completely shut the event down. We've got to stop this kind of thing from happening again. I have a slightly different take on it. My take on it is that if they could have bought these drugs from a licensed store or even just a regular shop that was accountable for what they were selling, or from drug companies that were also accountable for what they were selling, then this wouldn't have happened. Now, when an overdose like this does occur, it's almost always either they've taken too much because they didn't know how much they were supposed to take and they've just overdosed, or they've taken some sort of bad batch of pills. So it's been mixed with some chemical that you're probably not supposed to mix it with, and they've taken it. It maybe affected them because of other medications they have, or maybe they just had a bad reaction to the chemicals that were in the pills, and they've ended up having to go to hospital. You don't get this kind of poisoning with legal alcohol or even tobacco. Yeah, they're not so good for you. I don't actually drink or smoke myself. I prefer other recreational activities, but they are a lot safer. And even in alcohol, they put chemicals into the drinks that make you feel sick if you start drinking too much to prevent poisoning. They don't do that with pills. With pills, it's just, you've got something that I want to purchase. I've got money, give me the pills because I want to party. That's the reaction, or that's the interaction that you get at a festival such as this. So, as you saw before, the Premier of New South Wales has weighed in, and this is her quote. "We will do everything we can to shut this down. I don't want to see this event happen again. I'm absolutely aghast at what's occurred. I don't want any family to go through the tragedy that some families are waking up to this morning. It's just horrible to think about." If she really wanted people to not go through a drug overdose event such as this, what she would do is legalise all drugs. She'd say, well, okay, people are going to take drugs because they are. Making things illegal doesn't stop people from using them if they want to use them. She'd then say, okay, we'll make them legal, and we'll put warning labels on the boxes, and manufacturers and suppliers are obliged to give safety warnings, as I said, and also give dosage levels and let people know exactly what chemicals are in it, and help them use them safely rather than buying from some shady character that they just met down the back of a tent at a dance festival. If she really cared about safety, she'd be looking into options like that. But instead, she's a politician and she just wants to virtue signal to the maybe more religious people on the right. This is why the rage mob and the outrage mob and the pearl clutches isn't just a phenomena on the left. It's a lot more common on the left these days, but you still get it on the right as well. Because remember, she is a Premier in the New South Wales Liberal Party. She's the Premier of the so-called Conservative Party, which isn't quite conservative these days, but you understand what I'm saying. The outrage doesn't just go one way, it does go the other way. Okay, so the reaction from the organisers made me kind of laugh a little bit. We are disappointed at the number of reported drug-related incidents. We have a zero-tolerance policy in relation to drug use at the festival, which is hilarious because anyone who's actually been to this festival knows that there are drugs everywhere. And it's the main conversation going in. How are you going to get your pills through the door? Are you going to get them past the sniffer dogs? What if you don't have them? How are we going to get them while we're in there? So people there are pretty much high as hell from start to finish. So the idea that there's a zero tolerance on drug use at that festival is absolutely ridiculous. But as I said, there are ways of mitigating the risk, and that is by potentially making them illegal, or legal I should say, and they'd be regulated by the market. If you sold someone a bad batch, then you would be liable for the damage that you caused to that individual. You could even have regular medical or legal regulations over the safety and warning labels and all that kind of thing, as I already mentioned. But yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a funny statement. They said festival organisers are working closely and cooperating with the authorities regarding the fatalities and the number of medical presentations made during the evening. A full investigation is currently underway. So obviously they don't want people to be hurt. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this because it's important to understand that prohibition does not work. Banning this festival isn't going to stop this kind of thing from happening. It'll go on the ground. It'll go to a different state. People are going to use drugs whether they're illegal or legal. It's not a matter of being able to set up laws to say, no, you can't do it, it's illegal to sell, and we'll put you in prison if you do, because people are going to actually use them if they want to. It's really time we started taking a common sense approach and a more reasonable approach towards the use of what are now illicit drugs. Also, they could have had pill testing kits, they could have had safety brochures, they could have a lot of other things in place to prevent this kind of event from happening. I don't blame the people who were going to the festival, I don't blame the organisers, I blame the people who made the drugs. Obviously, they shouldn't have been putting different chemicals in them. They should have been a little bit more careful with when they manufacture them, but the main people I blame is the state who makes drugs illegal and thus puts people at risk in this manner. I know some of you might disagree with me. Feel free to tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you when I see ya.